What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about how Fortnite delayed today's update and how it could be potentially delayed even further. And there was a recent change that went live without an actual update that we're going to talk about as well. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of this update being delayed. So, from the blog post that Fortnite put out before the Star Wars season started, we know that today, May 15th, the Chewbacca update was supposed to go live, and this was set to bring the Wookiee Bowcaster to the loot pool, the CA-87 Jawa Scatter Blaster to the loot pool, which is going to be a new shotgun, and then likely the Chewbacca NPC on the map as well, along with, several other little changes that kind of happened from Fortnite update to update. However, this update did not actually go live today and was delayed until tomorrow, Friday the 16th. But this update could be delayed even further. The CEO of Epic, Tim Sweeney, ended up posting and said, "We don't have an update on our Fortnite submission to the App Store. Apple has neither accepted nor rejected it, so the Friday update to Fortnite is now in jeopardy." Meaning, if Apple doesn't approve the update, then they might end up pushing the update back even further. And if you guys were unaware, I'm not the most knowledgeable about the whole Fortnite versus Apple lawsuit, but to my understanding, a court ruled that in such a way that should bring Fortnite back and Epic Games Store back to iOS devices. However, when Epic submitted this to Apple last week, Apple decided just to do nothing with it, neither approving nor denying it, as a way to kind of soft block Fortnite from coming back to the App Store. I guess if they just full on denied it, they would have problems, but if they just happen to take their time and take a while to approve Fortnite and effectively keep Fortnite off the App Store by dragging their feet, then they can effectively, not have Fortnite on iOS, but also not, run into problems because they denied it without justification and went, against the court's lawsuit. As I said, though, I'm not the most knowledgeable about this stuff, but that is my understanding of the situation. And they submitted Fortnite to Apple, I believe, last Friday. And typically this is something that takes like 1 to 2 days. And it's been a week at this point. And because of the way Fortnite wants the game to be, this isn't only an issue for mobile players. With everything being crossplay, Fortnite doesn't want mobile being on one patch and then, everything else being on one patch. And then how do you have those people interact? Like, it creates a lot of potential problems. So it's ideal for Fortnite. And what Epic would want is just every platform to be on the same update all at the same time and have that update roll out on every platform simultaneously. But since Apple is yet to approve the Fortnite app, they couldn't update mobile with the update that was supposed to come out today. And then that's why it was delayed. Hopefully that makes sense. It's somewhat convoluted and confusing, but that is why the update was delayed today. Apple didn't approve Fortnite, and since Apple didn't approve Fortnite, they couldn't update the other platforms and then just leave mobile behind. And so Fortnite decided to delay it. And as Tim Sweeney posted, maybe the update gets further delayed depending on what Apple does. Fortnite status did actually just post that the update will be going live tomorrow on Friday the 16th as of the time I was recording this. But it's one of those things where you don't really know if the person who runs the Fortnite status account is in the know of everything going on. You would assume it's that way, but there's been a lot of weird inconsistencies with that account or from Epic support at times. But Fortnite status said, insert Wookiee Grow. Downtime for V35.10 begins at 4 a.m. Eastern Time with matchmaking ending shortly beforehand. So it seems like the intention at the moment is for the update to go live tomorrow. Tim Sweeney hasn't said anything on the Apple front, like whether or not Apple approved it and now everything is good to go, or if they're just deciding to leave mobile behind and not update mobile to this version until it eventually comes. It's one of those things where it's really hard to talk about because none of us have all of the information. Even Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic, probably doesn't have all the information because it depends on what Apple does. But as of the time I'm recording this, I'm expecting the update to come out on Friday. If it doesn't come out tomorrow, I will have another video about something else and let you guys know that the update was delayed. But now to get to what a recent change that did happen in Fortnite. This actually happened Wednesday evening, but I was just going to wait to cover it and include it in my video on today's update that ended up getting delayed. But what ended up changing was the TIE Fighters and X-Wings got an HP buff in every game mode. And the way Fortnite works, they can buff and nerf things or volt and unvolt things. without an actual download update. And then that's how they were able to do this despite the whole problems they're currently having with Apple. So I'll have it on screen now. But in solos, the TIE Fighters and X-Wings went from 1,050 health to 1,450 health, so 400 HP gained. In duos, they went from 1,350 to 1,860, so 510 health gained. In trios, it went from 1,425 to 1,965, so 540 health gained. And then finally in squads, it went from 1,500 to 2,070, gaining 570 HP. So in every game mode, it got about like 400 to 500 HP gain. This isn't like a massive game-changing buff. I think how you felt about the spaceships previously is how you will still feel about them now. They're still going to be somewhat annoying to deal with, but it's not like they're the most tanky thing on Earth. I think where this update is going to be kind of noticed most is going to be solos, because the way the weapons work with like the overheating system, the spaceship taking longer to destroy means you're potentially going to have to overheat your gun once or twice, and maybe even have it overheated when you do end up destroying it, making it more of a problem if the spaceship does land on you, or, you know, if the player jumps out and you have a little bit of time to shoot on them, you might miss that timing because your weapon is on cooldown now with it taking longer to destroy. But in the other game modes, you have more people capable of shooting at it. So I feel like while some of those game modes got a larger HP buff, I feel like you don't feel it as much because you can just team shot it. And squads has 4 times the firepower, but it didn't have 4 times the HP. It had 600 more. That's not, it's like 25% more, a little under that. So it's not the, or a little over that. So it's not the biggest change for the other game modes, but I think in solos, the spaceships are a bit tankier now. My advice on playing against them is still to just hopefully shoot at them when they're at an angle that can't really shoot at you. If you see them off in the distance and you know, are shooting that side of it and it's focused on something else, that's an ideal time to destroy it. If it is coming straight for you, I like to just kind of shockwave straight at it, because the way the spaceships work is they only have a singular gun on the front. And so if you end up behind it, it has to do a whole U-turn to shoot at you again. And this takes a while for some players to complete, and some people may end up like crashing into other things. If someone's really good at flying it, they might just snap again onto you really well. But most people aren't that great at flying these, and they do have to do a kind of wide turn to get back to a point where they can end up doing more damage to you. And hopefully in that time, you've either repositioned again and lost them, or done enough damage to where the, you know, the vehicle is going to be disabled and the person is going to be forced out. Another thing you can do is just get on it. This is something that's more likely in solos, because in team game modes, the slots might be occupied by other players. But you can just shockwave and Jedi flip into the air and then end up on somebody's spaceship and then start shooting them from on top of it, and they can't really damage you back. Unfortunately, you can't just like gun the player inside from on top of it, or if you have a lightsaber, you can't damage them from inside or from outside with the lightsaber. So you can just damage the ship and destroy it, but that should hopefully make it a bit easier for you to deal with it and reduces your chances of getting gunned by it. But that is going to be it for today's video. Just want to let you guys know what happened, because I know not everybody stays incredibly up to date with Fortnite news when it comes to like updates getting delayed or when things are actually supposed to come. Likely coming tomorrow. Spaceships got buffed recently. Let me know what you think of all that down in the comments below. If you did enjoy this, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.